You are listening to the Savage FINcast Retro, Episode 20, Freak Force 7 and 8.
Chicago. A criminal mastermind called Overlord held our city in his terrifying grip. Ordinary cops were losing the battle against Overlord's super freaks and mutants. Then, a miracle happened. When I found him, he had no memory of his past. I helped him find an identity and a life. Now we have a fighting chance. Now we have the dragon.
This is the Savage FINcast, the only podcast trademark that trademark brings you trademark. The trademark, classic trademark, Savage Dragon trademark, issues trademark. I'm Raven Perez trademark.
I'm Jim Purcell trademark.
I'm Craig Olson, registered.
Ooh, you fucked it up. Let me just say that you're listening to a podcast dedicated to all things Eric Larson and Savage Dragon, but in particular, you're listening to a FINcast Retro, where we go back and look at old issues that we're not covering in real time. It's stuff that happened when you were young, guys. And we got a very freaky force couple of issues here for you. Number 7 and 8, Freak Force.
Get your freak on.
It's going to get real damn freaky. Guys, let's just get it right into the meat and potatoes. Enter Killcat. I had not read this until this show. Let me say how incredibly weird an experience this was for me.
Yeah.
As someone who was just used to Killcat for years of reading Savage Dragon, to read his introduction here in Freak Force.
This is this is the first appearance of Killcat chronologically. He hasn't been seen in Savage Dragon at all up to this point.
Right.
No, this is very first.
So it is. So yeah. So I am right to think it was a bit bizarre as well, because again, I have also not read this, and so it's super weird to have Killcat without a Kid Avenger.
Yes.
To be somewhat reasonably competent.
Yes.
If just arrogant.
Yeah.
He's
definitely like a touch of silliness.
Yeah, he's definitely not the clown he would become.
Right.
There's hints of it, but it's not full blown.
Right.
He's not a belieber. This seems like a kind of Killcat that when he jumps at a guy with an afro, the guy goes, "Oh my lord," because he's actually scared of Killcat, which is just weird.
No, he's probably was scared of Batman. I'd be scared of Batman.
Yeah, The Dark Knight. There's a lot of Batman. The gossip is clearly the Riddler.
Good point.
Right. Just even that splash page is clearly a Batman-esque splash. Looking down at the guys unloading the truck, his shadow is clearly a Batman shadow. You know, I mean, it's so obvious, but
As I read,
I kind of like it.
It's as obvious as that big guy's chest logo.
Yeah, the big guy's clearly got a Batman pastiche going on.
That's definitely a hawk. No trademark violated.
Well, also too, like just some weird things. Like clearly, Killcat kicks that big dude, and he Uzis his fucking friends.
Yep.
One would assume to death.
Yeah, generally.
I don't see how you
center mass like that. Not a good day.
Yeah, those bullets are going through.
But this is what I mean by like competent. He beats these guys up. He wins.
Yeah.
He doesn't bumblefuck his way through.
Yeah, not on accident.
and then he calls Gossip's bluff. You're bluffing.
He's hard. He's hard, that Killcat.
It's just completely. It's a little strange. I
like Vic Bridges' take on him though. Like,
yes, yeah.
The way he looks cool.
I think it looks really cool. And Vic slipping into more confidence, I think, with this issue. You know, I'm slipping into the Vic zone. You know, I wasn't a fan, but, like, I think Vic's doing good things in this issue, dude. I think these zoom-ups of the you're bluffing, I think, like, there's great body, like, the body language during the fight is not quite as stiff.
Right.
The Batman pose, the Batman splash is great. I mean, that's a great splash. Lots of good silhouette. Just good shit. Just good shit. I'm very surprised.
So how do you guys feel about the Freak Force workout apparel line?
Listen, Jim, thanks for bringing it up because I don't understand what a single F means.
It's not a single F. See, it's got the little split. So in fact, there are two Fs.
No, it's a single F.
No,
it's a single F.
It's implied there are in fact two Fs because it's split.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope. It's not. Look at the Fs on the windows.
Yeah.
That was a sheepish. Yep.
Yeah. Listen, it makes no sense at all. It either means freak or it means force. But you just wear a fucking like thing that just says freak. I'm struggling. I'm struggling with it. I'm glad you brought it up.
I feel like Vic feels the need to do that in all like his characters' like clothes. It's funny.
Feels the need to do the logo.
Put a logo on everything, yeah. Or the image eye or something.
How would you know they were on a super team if they weren't all matching?
The funny thing is, like, if it was Eric, he would just leave him in costume all the time.
Right.
Vic does a thing where they're always like, which is kind of cool in a way, I guess. I can respect that, is that they're not always in costume. And a lot of times when they're not fighting, they're definitely out of costume.
You do get the sense, because as I understand it, Vic had some like hang-ups about drawing like the sexier women. So like he puts them in these baggy clothes that covers up everything.
Yeah, that might be a good point. He was was he Jehovah's Witness?
I think
something?
one of those, yeah. Mormon.
He
one of those.
He got out of comics, right? Or at least superhero comics because he thought they were too racy, right?
Right.
Or at least that's the story.
So I don't know if I'm reading too much into that, but it is interesting to me the way he dresses Dart and Rapture when they're in civilian clothes. Because it isn't like how Eric does it. In our previous retro, not only did we have some very overt nipples, but a very sexy dress at dinner, on date. So it's just a different way of doing it, I suppose.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is funny, Craig. You mentioned that Eric doesn't generally take them out of their costumes, but I guess in those early Savage Dragons, we did get to see like dinner dates and just street clothes.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that did happen for sure, but not super often.
This is good.
I was gonna say I don't care if I ever see Horridus straight on like this ever.
Oh
again.
my God, these lips!
You know, the thing is everyone has a worst angle, and that's her worst angle. Straight on, bro.
Yeah,
Can't deal.
It's definitely one of those things that like Eric would avoid doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Because
I just think that some people just can't draw her, and I think Vic just can't draw her. Like the lips and stuff, it just doesn't come off right.
The thing is Vic actually has some incredible Horriduses. There's some really good Horriduses later on. And like I said, I'm really like warming up to Vic's style, and I think Vic's getting better. But, whoa, there's some oogie Horriduses. It's so oogie, man. It's so weird. The straight-on Horridus, yikes, my dudes. But characterization, I like that, again, we're talking about like Killcat getting introduced. This is stuff I didn't get. Like, here's a panel where Horridus is talking about, she's just staring out the window, and she's like, well, I was locked up, so sometimes I just like to, like, watch people go by and watch the world. And I was like, whoa, that's some characterization I never got.
In the regular book, yeah.
I never got that. It's so crazy how substantial Freak Force really was.
And of course, it also teases something else going on that, you know, we don't know about yet, but is going to probably pay off later.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
this apparent super team moving in across the street.
Right.
So there's a lot of kind of things getting set up in this issue. I think this is one of the better Freak Force issues.
Mm-hmm.
Between this and then the very next page, you get some more setup. You know, you learn that we're going to probably learn some more backstory between Ricochet and Barbaric.
Mm-hmm.
And where they're coming from. They've got some kind of secret that they're hiding from the rest of the team. And at the same time, we see Jerry, who we know as Jerry the Inhabitor eventually, and he shows up in Savage Dragon, and he's tied to it. And then, of course, behind the scenes, Chelsea Nirvana is kind of playing the fiddle, like just stringing everybody along and just is coming up with some kind of master plan. She just seems to be in the shadows everywhere.
Yep. Working overtime, that Chelsea. I gotta say, I'm not talking about wild things and sort of like weird things. Is it like these kind of like cybernetic, like Super Patriot tentacles?
Dr. Octopus arms.
Yeah. Just guarding the stairwell. And
yeah.
they're weird, I think.
And they are weird because I actually kind of forgot. Because I thought they were still like the only money they have is coming from like that first big bus they had.
Right.
Yeah, they were like broke, you know.
Yeah,
They were,
and
like,
now they have tentacle armed security devices. That seems a little advanced.
Yeah, I'm also a little confused on that. Did they have a windfall of some kind? Like, I know we missed. They have this headquarters, so something happened, and they got a headquarters.
Right. Well, they got some money from when they beat, what was his name, Natural Disaster or
major
disaster. And that's what got them set up in the new digs.
Right.
But
yeah, they definitely got some high tech tentacle stuff. Let me just compliment.
Just in case someone opens the door from the rooftop.
Let me compliment Vix Hortus in the panel where she's like, "Uh-oh," and on the roof there's an intruder. That's a good Hortus. Yes, I'm not just going to be shitty. And there's some good Hortuses on these subsequent pages too.
interesting that she's in like a bikini top and Rapture's in a dumpy t-shirt. Also, what's going on with her hair? Is she wearing a net? I guess that makes sense because she has so much fucking hair.
And Barbaric's got the latest in the new Image line.
Super Patriot, he just sleeps in his clothes.
Right. And also, what I love is, like, Super Patriot also has these hentai tentacles. Just like, we never see this. I'm just saying. And what's funny is, somebody in the letters was like, I don't like it. Like, what?
Well,
like, his arms behave weird and different.
His dickle appendages.
Yeah, dude. He's
How about that weird? How about the weird dolphin sculpture in the background?
Yeah, that's how you know they're into the money. They got that fucking. They got that Sea Life series.
There's so many weird pictures. Like Vic Bridges cannot help himself of putting all these pictures in the background.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
the one with the eyes. Like, what is that?
He definitely populated the. He populated their world sparsely and weirdly. Very sparse. He was
That's
more
the
of
one
an
thing-
outdoors guy for sure.
I feel like a lot of like Vic's panels are just like the same angle. Like,
It's the
dead
straight on. Yeah, it's the dead on, the toy angle.
Yeah.
You got to move the camera, dude. You got to have weird angles and stuff.
I mean, he does put his characters in weird positions. Like when Ricochet's hopping in, she's coming in at an odd angle. Yeah, I guess that's the only one. So here's the thing. All right, you see this bit where Barbaric has Killcat by the head, and Mighty Man comes in to slug him, but he misses and hits Barbaric instead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Am I crazy, or does Killcat have like a luck-based power?
I don't think so.
I for some reason I thought that was a thing, but I guess maybe not, because it seems like it was like how he slipped free and made that happen seemed really convenient. I guess maybe because Anne is still inexperienced, it's still kind of odd.
It's odd in the way that some of this action is odd. Like, some of the action, again, you don't have the fight choreography that Eric has, where, like, you see, like, a guy wind up with his fucking right hand in one panel and then deliver a right punch in the next panel. Like, it's just sequential art. So, basically, like, you're getting weird. There's weird sequential art. If you want to flip back to when Killcat's breaking in, like, you see him jiggling with a key latch, and then the next thing he's like, what, falling through a wall? Like, it's down some stairs? It's very confusing what's going on there, right? And I think...
Well, I think what happened was he got tripped up by the tentacles, and then he started falling down the stairs.
Yeah.
Because he's all wrapped up. He's all wrapped up with the tentacles when he's falling.
Just saying, though, that there's some weird sequential art stuff going on here. There's just some weird stuff is all. Things Eric wouldn't have done, I think. Possibly.
And Dart is also... actually, everybody's wearing Image Eye sleeperoos.
Yeah.
All matching? Weird.
Yeah,
they must have got a bulk deal. They're getting paid to advertise.
Oh, we're such
How about
judgmental
the scene
pricks.
where I'm gonna continue it too. The panel where Super Patriot. So it's like after the whole confrontation with Killcat, they're all settled down and talking now. And like Super Patriot's like lifting some like 1930s like dumbbell. What are you building? Like the muscle in your robotic arms?
No, he's working his upper back and shoulders.
Answered in a letter, believe it or not. A letter writer criticized that and said, dude, his arms and his strength in his arms is set. Like, what's he exercising for? He's a moron. Eric said, well, he can still work out his like chest and abs and like back. So
I mean, he does have a super soldier torso though. So
does he?
With his
he has
dumbbell.
superpowers.
Okay, well, Vic fucked up and Eric covered for him.
Well,
Eric's a liar.
Still got to work on it, right?
Yeah.
Busted. Eric's a liar.
Got it. Yeah, he was. If I remember correctly, he was experimented. He was a American soldier. Got experimented on by the Germans. They turned him into a super soldier. Then he kicked all their asses because they're dumbasses. Became Super Patriot, and then when he got his limbs chewed off, he got the cybernetics, but he was still a super soldier.
Well, he probably still needs to work out.
Yeah, get that
his giant
back definition. Yes.
It is hilarious that it is a giant black circle weight. Not a plate, just a giant cartoon weight.
Yeah, not adjustable at all. That weight is one weight.
I gotta say, Killcat in his civilian outfits could not look like more of a rapist.
Oh my god, he's such a he lives in the 70s, I guess.
Creepy.
Yeah.
And Eric had an answer for that. He said his hair needs to be that way to cover his cat ears.
That makes sense. Wait, no.
But
I love his blue car. What is going on there?
What?
His blue car.
You mean the taxi?
Oh, is that a taxi? Oh, it does have a little taxi thing on top. Yeah,
it's not his car. He's in Chicago. He flew in from Detroit.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, yeah,
it is a blue
taxi.
taxi.
The taxi is pretty funny looking.
Yeah, oh, it's funny. There's some wacky stuff going on.
This dress Dart is wearing is weird too, just because of how normal it is.
It's all weird.
It's all weird. Yeah, it's weird. It's awkward. Like the finger under the nose. Like, I know what it is. I know people do that. It's just a weird thing to draw.
Augie's gonna be so mad at us.
I know, dude. You dicks. I was praising the art.
Super fan Augie DeBleek. I thought this was a good issue too, but the art is kind of silly in some places.
Also, I was just gonna agree. I think that Vic is doing good things. Like, there's an improvement on body language for sure. Like, let's appreciate Barbaric leaning on that pommel horse. You know, and on that same page, Dart storming past. It's good body language, dude. Vic's getting more chops with every issue. He is.
I love we're getting more characterization with Killcat, so he's turning more into the goofy guy. Like that airport interaction was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's thick and he's stupid.
No, like, that's a great thing, is that, like, by the end of this issue even, I feel like Killcat, like, gets more dialed in.
Yeah. I like the fact that, you know, Dart and Killcat used to fight crime in Detroit, and now she's in Chicago. Like, that was kind of cool. Cool little development.
Oh, there was something else. Where was it? Well, did it come up in this issue? No, I think it's next issue. We'll talk about it then.
Is Killcat wearing gloves because he has
Claws, yes.
claws? All right, that's what I thought. All right, just checking.
And again, we see creepy Chelsea Nirvana.
So the way she's in shadow is really weird because it makes her look like she's wearing a black bodysuit and like she has a little bit of hair poking out.
Yeah.
I too thought that. I was like, ooh.
I'm pretty sure she's not in a black bodysuit with a little hair poking out. I'm pretty sure she's just in shadow.
Tangent wise, I think Anne's roommate standing behind her as Anne is in the closet.
Right.
It makes her look like her roommate's like hung herself in the closet.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, when I first looked at that, I was like, what the hell? Did she fucking kill herself? What's going on?
That's awesome. It's the greatest.
I was like, what? It's a tangent. That's all. It's a tangent.
Fuck this life. I'm out of here.
It's only one way out of this comic.
Fuck you, Ann, and your Bob.
No, Jim, I also thought Chelsea was in a bodysuit at first. You're going to see Vic is doing interesting things with shadows. Perhaps inspired by Savage Dragon number 10. He does more and more weird silhouette stuff in the next issue whenever we get to that one. We close out with the Covenant of the Sword dealing with this strange phenomenon that has burst from the capsule that dropped from space. And they're not...
Yeah, so that was what? Last issue, right? Issue 6. We got that little epilogue with the capsule and the weird cybernetic ant, like whatever, scanned a real ant and became a robotic ant. So I guess that's what this is kind of alluding to. Well, I actually know because I've read it, but
well, it's a slow build. And again, it's kind of like it is kind of cool, like you were saying, Craig, to have things slow build. Like, man, just slow builds all over the place on Freak Force.
Yeah, I love the Covenant. I think they're like the aim of Savage Dragon, you know? Like, it's just kind of neat to have this Cobra-esque, AIM-esque super villain group. And they've got some kind of station out in the Amazon.
Getting their ass.
Eye patch.
Getting their ass handed to them by robot ants.
Yeah. Great Dave Johnson design with the little chainmail and the garb. I don't know.
Yeah, the full body, like, tunic.
Yeah. I like it.
Yep. Agreed. Before we jump into the letters, how'd you guys feel about this issue overall?
Honestly, not a lot happens. I mean, it's good character stuff. Killcat showing up and making Dart get her out of her comfort zone. But otherwise, we just get a bunch of setup for a bunch of stuff that's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, I agree, but that's what I like. I mean, obviously, he's introducing a character that he's gonna have around in the series for a while, so you got that important setup. So you get that little action scene in the beginning.
Wait, who?
Killcat.
But he's not going to be around. He just got sent back to Detroit.
Well, he'll be around in the pages of Savage Dragon and just in general in the highbrow universe.
So I guess I never really put two and two together and realized that this was his first appearance in the Dragonverse.
He's going to be getting his own series soon too.
Yeah.
After this.
Yeah.
And I guess that would be where Kid Avenger comes from.
Yes.
Yep. Yes.
I guess that's why I always assumed they were a duo, because that's when the first time they show up in Dragon, they're together already.
Yeah, to me, again, Jim, like, I'm in the same position you were. To me, by the time I'm introduced to them, they're Killcat and Kid Avenger. And
Right.
then, like, so it's just very, like, weird getting it in reverse here. But, yeah, that's absolutely the chronology. And, like, he even, like, tells someone in a letter, he's like, oh, yeah, you know, Killcat is going to be having his own Deadly Duo, like, series, and it's going to have Kid Avenger, too. So it's funny because, like, he absolutely, like, knows what's going on. Like, he's got plans for this stuff. It's coming. It's just, in this very first issue, here he is all alone.
He's heartbroken that Dart left Detroit, and that carries on to this day.
To-
Where he's well, I guess not to this day because Dart's not Jill anymore, but for a long time during the series. But yeah, so that's important introduction of Killcat. Like you said, Jim, there's a lot of setup. There's 2 or 3 different things going on. One thing that we didn't touch on, which is another setup, I believe. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, so we didn't talk about the conversation between Rapture and Dart, and Dart's like making a point that there's like so many more supervillains in Chicago.
That is in this issue. Yeah, I found that interesting. Like there was the whole Savage Dragon premise is that Chicago for some reason was overrun with super freaks, and the cops couldn't handle it. I'm just repeating the intro song.
I wondered why you were winding down like that. I was like, Jimmy, okay? breathe.
But that was like the whole thing about Dragon is that they finally got a superpowered cop who can fight them. And I don't know if there was ever really an explanation ever given, although there was
there is. We'll talk about it in issue 8 of Freak Force. You start to learn, and Freak Force kind of develops it, and the pages go. The story continues into Savage Dragon, but if you've only ever read Savage Dragon, you miss that chunk, and so that's why kind of reading Freak Force is important.
Yeah, I'll say that. I'll say that I actually, even though it could be argued that not too much happened, I really like the characterization going on here. I really liked seeing, like, Hortus, staring out the window because she'd been locked up. I really liked seeing, like, Dart and Killcat's, initial interactions. Just, like, I don't know.
It's not even their initial interactions. It's, they've known each other for a while, so it's like they're seeing each other again. Yeah, there's a lot. So yeah, just to kind of piggy on that, it's the Killcat kind of intro, learning about him and Dart. It's Dart and Rapture talking about why is Chicago of all places overrun by superpowered beings. There's this other kind of FF type. I don't know if there are other like superhero team or what that's moving in. There's the secret between Ricochet and Barbaric. That's a big deal that they don't want other people to know. And then Jerry the Inhabitor shows up on the scene, and you're like, there's some tie-in there. So it's a lot, There's just a lot that's going to pay off over the next few issues, or through the series, actually. And then a callback to the Covenant of the Sword.
Yeah, and Anne's got a bad feeling about, like, Chelsea Nirvana. It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, and Chelsea's continuing to, like, put her plan together.
I think it's good. I think this is a pretty good issue. A lot of shit was going, a lot of irons in the fire. The letter section, I just got like medium-sized notes compared to issue 11, like a little bit less. But basically, largely everybody was blown away by the Mighty Man reveal. We talk about like how I think we talked about it in the last retro, like how would people feel? People were fucking pretty flipped out. They were kind of shocked by it. Vanguard's Wally was Eric revealed that Vanguard's Wally is named after Beaver's brother Wally Cleaver, and Leave It to Beaver.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And Eric points that out in a letter that is referring to all of those retro TV shows like Green Acres and all that stuff, which we were poking fun at. Eric states he came up with Mighty Man's origin, and it was Keith who came up with Raptures. So that's kind of weird and interesting. There is a writer who struggles hard with Anne being Mighty Man, compares it to Whoopi Goldberg being possessed by Patrick Swayze in Ghost.
What?
You remember in Ghost when like Whoopi Goldberg gives her body to him and she dances with Demi Moore, and it's like, and then they kiss. Like,
I don't remember. Probably it sounds
so
right.
basically they kiss, but then the whole thing back then was like, oh, but she would have been kissing Whoopi Goldberg. Of course, you know.
Oh my God.
Right. Well, this writer, the letter writer, he's like, oh my God, scary.
Scary.
Anne is Mighty Man? Scary. I was like, oh, it's so funny. And this is, dude, I got to give a special, this letter felt like a gift from the past to our present. One incredible letter writer suggests that Anne Stevens could ejaculate as Mighty Man and artificially inseminate herself as Anne to get pregnant with Mighty Man's baby. And Eric actually responds to it and says it is possible, but the baby would kill her because it would be super powered.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Isn't that insane? I never thought about this. As sick fuck
I'm
as my
surprised you've never thought of it.
I don't know. I guess I assumed Mighty Man was sterile because he's magic.
Yeah, I just thought he wouldn't. I just thought he wouldn't shoot.
I fully expect a Facebook post of Raven's words of wisdom relating to this.
Bro, I again, like Jim,
Well,
I just
if he can piss, so we know that. So I assume he's got all the biological functions of the world's
what's funny is
mightiest
that,
man.
like, didn't we only ever see him pissing in Freak Force?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't know he could piss until this year. You know what I mean? So it's like, to learn that Mighty
That's
Man...
why Anne was so, like, didn't know what she was doing in the bathroom.
That letter, as soon as I read it, my mind was completely fucking blown. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. What? And the fact that Eric actually acknowledged it and was like, yeah, it's possible.
I am pretty sure that Mighty Man, as Mighty Man, has not had sex. If only because it would be very dangerous.
Superman can do it. Superman plows Lois regularly.
True.
Dragon plows women all the time. And he described the world...
That's
he
true.
described the world as being made of bubbles. So it's like, come on. When you go to, like, touch a baby's soft little head, do you just explode your fist through it?
No.
I'm saying you know how to hold back.
But babies are a lot
Sometimes.
tougher than they look.
Is that the Fontanelle? Oh, God!
There goes another one.
Boop! Just don't let me touch your baby's soft head. I can't do it. Yeah.
You get some more character creating.
More
contests to
character
run
creations.
up.
Apparently, J. Scott Campbell just created a whole new super team for Eric. Just cranked it out, I guess.
You know what's so weird? Is that, like, we got this baby from Gen 13's own J. Scott Campbell. Why is it that these create-a character drawings look so much worse than his Gen 13 work?
What do you mean?
Like, I'm just saying, like, if he did these in 92,
Right.
did he really change that much that fast?
Probably. I mean, what is the status of Gen 13 at this point? I actually didn't even think the series had started yet. I thought it was
Me either.
I thought it was quite late in Wildstorm's existence.
So this drawing is dated 92, but this comic is published in 94. So Gen 13...
Remember, it was like...
Oh, wait. They first appeared in 1993 in Deathmate.
Remember, it was marketed as Gen X, and they had to change it.
Right, to Gen 13.
So the series started in 94, which is actually earlier than I thought it did.
I'm just saying, look how much he changed in like 2 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, does it look bad? I don't know. I can't tell.
Still looks pretty damn good to me, though.
It looks good. It looks good enough for 1992.
It's wonky, is all I'm saying. Compared to Gen 13,
I
it's
will.
wonky.
I will say, like all of these, like character drawings, the other ones, except for Captain Conservative, we'll get to him in a second, are all
Yes.
all very Cyberforce
Extreme. Oh, yeah.
Very.
I like the Spore guy. He looks cool with his.
I think he looks
leech
cool
hands.
too. Yeah, look at
Got
that
those-
hand. I think he could be like a modern character, dude. Like kind of like Jimbo. Like you said, Craig. He's got a timeless look compared to the rest of these guys.
especially that knob head there.
I like the rope belt, knob head.
Which is a knobhead.
He's got a dick head, that's for sure.
He's got his hood down.
I like his rope belt. Oh, this is good, dude. I like him. Jim, Captain Conservative.
It's War and Terror's prototype.
It's a guy with a clan hood.
Yeah,
Like,
it's very on the nose.
very. As soon as I saw that, I was like, "Oh shit!" Wow.
He's got the Patriot stripes, and he's got a bat for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Or an eagle, I guess. I'm sure he thinks he's a hero. He himself is a hero.
Yeah. Hero of his own story for sure. You know?
Yeah.
On the next page, we got a Bad Rock in just a T-shirt. The Image Eye apparel, fucking everywhere apparently.
Get
But,
rocked.
I like this. I like Bad Rock in plain clothes.
Yep. This is Jason Pearson, right? Because that's who's I
Yeah.
guess doing the story.
Yep.
Yep.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty good Bad Rock.
So Spawn 23 is the FBI, CIA, or the police who will reach Spawn first. The conclusion of The Hunt, written and drawn by Todd McFarlane, $195 only from Image Comics.
It's crazy because Dragon's only on issue like 10.
Yeah.
Because Eric did the miniseries and then took a little break.
Yep.
And Spawn's already on 23 at this point.
I actually thought McFarlane stopped drawing Spawn a lot earlier than this.
Me too. Like, what's up with this?
I think he stops at 24, I think is when Capullo...
The very next issue.
I think so. It's around that time. Because I stopped buying it. It's kind of like I bought like one or two Capullo issues, and it just wasn't. It's definitely not the Capullo art that he draws now.
Yeah, Capullo, a madman.
So
A strong-armed madman.
So there's WildStar ad for the Sky One trade paperback.
Mm-hmm.
Not really notable except for the fact that on the top it promises every page, cover, ad, promo, everything. So it's promoting that the trade will have all the ads.
Yeah, isn't that weird? That's weird, right?
Like, I guess all the WildStar ads, not like the ads that were in the WildStar comics. It is a weird thing to advertise. Will this page be in it? I have to ask.
I think it's notable because of his pink nostrils, and I hate them.
You hate those pink nostrils?
Fill them with red.
Okay.
Fill them with red. I hate the pink nostrils. Or gray. Or something.
Or not have them.
Or not have them is also 100% acceptable. Well, wild ones, what are you waiting for?
All right.
Do you- I was just going to say, do you guys like the ombre effect on WildStar's logo?
Umbra?
Ombre?
Oh,
That, like, sort of sunset-y look?
Oh, you mean like the... Okay, so here's what I associate that with.
Uh-huh.
That's what the Bigfoot monster truck logo looks like.
Yeah, it's like State Fair t-shirts.
It's like it's supposed to be like reflective chrome.
Yeah.
I don't
Like
know.
if instead of WildStar, if it said Together Forever, I'd been like, yeah, I can see it. Moving right along, Freak Force 8. Look, I want you to note two things on this. Okay, For one, this is a deceptive cover. You know,
does it lie to us?
Super Patriot in peril. That's the proposition here. For two, we got Barbaric almost completely in silhouette. Just take note of it. At any rate, moving right along. It's a pretty good cover, but I just think Savage Dragon as a series doesn't have a lot of, like, false peril. You know what I mean? Usually, like, the scene is pretty well represented in the comic.
Also,
sometimes I've definitely seen some.
Also, Vanguard is here.
Yes. That's a good-looking van. Weird because he's not so gigantic.
Yeah, he's not
more
stupid buff.
Yeah, he's more proportionate. But that's a good dart and a good Mighty Man. A real good dart and Mighty Man.
So, I want to bring the attention to the credits page really quick.
Yes, sir. There's something very notable here.
I think this is the first appearance of the Highbrow logo. Or at
It
least,
absolutely is.
or the first time we've seen it. Yeah, we're a little out of sync in the Dragon comics.
He addresses it in the letters page, my friend.
Okay.
Yep, this is the debut.
First highbrow.
And Josh Eichhorn is a leggy supermodel. One's got to assume he made it to Dragon's Heaven.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
A bevy. One of the bevy.
One of the bevy, dude. Just up there getting plowed.
By Dragon. Heaven.
By Dragon. Well, it's Dragon's Heaven. It's not Josh's. Could be Josh's hell, for all you know.
So, right off the bat, something has changed with Vic. The panels no longer have drop shadows.
Not for long, my friend.
Not for long. They come back.
I want to point out, like, there appears to be someone's phone number there. Did anybody call it?
Let's dial.
Let's call it now live. Just kidding.
Call Scott.
Copyright Larson.
201-843-6997.
You just call him and say, hello, Scott. Yeah, I'm doing a podcast.
You probably you get this all the time, I'm sure, but...
Where'd I get your number? Freak Force number 8. Yeah. What the shadows aren't here, and it felt good for one. I was like, cool. Moving past it, putting that in the past. Look, guys, this guy has got an incredibly strong jaw and broad shoulders.
Yes, I believe this is the dude from the Super Patriot miniseries.
Jake Farrell. His sister was, I think his sister is the mother to Justice and Liberty.
Damn, Craig, how do you remember all this shit, bro? To me, Jake Farrell is so nondescript. There's nothing really...
Yeah, he's military man.
There's nothing really super visually, like...
Government suit.
Memorable about him.
Well, he's a government worker, like Jim said. You'll see in, like, the Super Patriot, Liberty and Justice, that he... I mean, because Super Patriot doesn't know about his kids until they get older, and he kind of helped keep them a secret, I guess. So, he's got some backstory, and it's tied in a lot with Super Patriot. So it's kind of cool to see some, cross appearances.
Mm-hmm. I would like to point out that this is a comic made in 1994. Extreme magnification is literally something Adobe is only just now starting to make a reality in 2021. Just a little funny technology thing.
These panels are so boring, though.
Yeah, it's a yawn, dude. And then we immediately get to a pretty fun page. This guy about to jump, to his doom. Again, we got more perhaps Spawn-inspired lettering. Just all different colors and shapes and fonts and, like, word balloon outlines and shit.
Where's Jerry Rivers?
Where are those TV people?
The Detonator is a pretty funny-looking guy.
Yeah, dude.
I love that his power is that he explodes if he, like, jumps, right? he
Yeah.
hits the ground, and it's like, well, how do you know?
They even
How
make
do you
that
know
joke
what
in
his
this
power
issue.
is? Yeah, I know. It's like, how do you know that's his power? And it's like, we don't. We just have to assume.
Get a load of the assholes in the top panel. They're like, jump, jump.
Yeah.
It's like, are you kidding me? What peckers? By the way, Freak Factor. Too busy.
So there's a hint to who's coming in next door, right?
Yeah.
Because it was an FF.
You got
And
us
then, I mean, if you look at the dialogue with the detonator and what his issue is.
It's a Johnny Redbeard creation.
Right, and so, we saw him in Megaton Man versus Dragon, and now it looks like he's coming back, and it kind of gives you a hint to, like, what the whole hubbub is with all these, like, we don't know yet, but as Dragon fans, we know that he gives people superpowers, so that's going to be tying in with that whole why there's so many more freaks in Chicago.
I gotta say, this again, talking about sort of fun things that I feel like you would never get in Savage Dragon. And again, I kind of enjoy it. Is Rapture going undercover in disguise as a reporter
In
just so
her school marm outfit.
right? Well, just so
Out of
that
nowhere.
yeah, just so that she can like, get close to electrocute the guy. And I'm like, I like it. That's the kind of thing that like I feel like maybe you would never see in Savage Dragon. You know what I mean?
It is just kind of funny, though. She just appears in it. I've got a plan. She jumps in a telephone booth.
Freak Force still kind of a shabby team at this point. Like Mighty Man's nowhere around to fly off this guy. Like they don't really know what the hell's going on. Like they show up and like they're like, well, I guess we should like I don't know, let Rapture go electrocute him.
How funny is the panel where Rapture's marching off and Dart's like, you can't go, and then you see like Super Patriot's arms extended. To grab Dart.
Yep. I like the extended arms. I think that's good comedy, dude. I think it's funny, like, again, Vic confidence growing. I think it's funny body language, and I think it's funny just to have the off-panel arms.
Yeah, and again, is Super Patriot using his tentacle arms.
Oh, those tentacle arms, bro. The hentai powers.
He's stretchy like Mr. Fantastic.
I don't like them. I don't like those arms. No. They dissatisfy me greatly. What's funny is, like, the joke, like, jokes aside, like, it's absolutely makes sense that he'd have to have non-lethal ordnance, you know what I mean? Like, you can't just make guns and only guns. Like, that cannot be really literally what you are. But it's just, and also, too, by the way, I think it makes very practical sense. Like, we talk about, like, what a cool visual it is to see Super Patriot's arms and legs grow so long and creepy like a spider.
Right.
So it makes perfect sense that his arms can come on out into these long coils. Just weird. Like I said, as a first time, this is my first exposure to it. My knee-jerk reaction is, man, that's weird. But it actually makes perfect sense. It's just fine. Like, jokes aside, it's only weird because I've been exposed to Super Patriot for, like, almost 3 decades and have never seen this. That's the only reason it's weird. So I'm actually fine with the hentai tentacles. I just think it's funny that we're still reading a character in his beginning days where they feel like they can experiment with Super Patriot's powers in that way. Like, I feel like if somebody did a Super Patriot series now and, like, they had him whipping out the hentai tentacles, I feel like Eric would be like, nah, we don't do that.
I agree. How about this? Vic's Vanguard is pretty cool, and it's like a weird alternate costume with no like headpiece. Like,
I'm not sure.
What is all the
what
backstory?
What is the explanation for him not having a helmet? I don't recall
something.
anything happening in Savage Dragon or the Vanguard series as to why he wouldn't have his helmet.
Right. I was curious. The suit is doing the translating, which is why his words are so bad.
His Santex is really bad.
Yeah. But it's kind of like, what is the story there?
I mean,
yeah, I can't remember
I
why
mean-
he has like the different suit.
I mean, it also makes him look the most like Superman yet.
Yes. That's great observation, dude. I was going to say, this is... Because honest to God, Craig, until you said that Vanguard was like, ugly Superman, I never made the connection. But like, holy shit, bro. He's Superman as hell in these pages.
Yeah. No, he definitely is. I think that Vic does a good job pulling off semi-handsome Vanguard because although he is kind of ugly in a way, he's not like some people just draw him completely hideous.
Yeah.
But he still has some kind of like alien handsome features, like in a way. It's like really hard to. I think of all the characters, Vanguard is kind of the hardest to pull off.
Agreed.
Of Eric's characters.
Yeah, I think you really nailed it when you said that Vanguard is handsome but ugly. Like ugly by human standards, but not hideous. He's not like a
Right.
mutant. And I think a lot of people get it wrong, but yeah, you're right. Vic's absolutely nailing it here. Although, it's completely undone by the how do you suggest we do that, Jake, dart. Whew, that's a rough dart.
Yeah.
That's a rough dart. This helicopter's cool. I like this weird helicopter.
It's definitely loaded up with missiles and junk.
Yeah, it's a murder copter. And I also like this splash page with the giant metal ant in the foreground.
It is interesting that this threat is like a nano swarm that's like consuming material to make more of itself.
Hyper evolution.
Yeah.
Like I like that as a. This is actually like a really cool villain concept, and I want to say that this, like with Absorbing Junior, like this is like the kind of thing that as a reader I was just like, oh yeah, man, like their thing is like hyper evolution, like that's really cool. They're like a little Borg.
You guys are gonna have to do some heavy lifting here because I actually forgot to read the second half of this.
Okay.
Everything up to the pinup I forgot.
Well, can we talk about the Ben Herrera pinup, which I think, at this time he was probably drawing the Star series, but it's a pretty awesome pinup.
Yeah,
Fuck yeah,
it's got a
dude.
really good look. I really like this style a lot. It's got
Except
it's,
for Horridus's head.
yeah, she has got some serious horse face. Other than that, I really like just like the general angular look of everybody.
Yeah.
Well, here's what's so funny. I'll totally agree with you guys that I think that this is fucking awesome as far as like the use of heavy black is just incredible, and I think this is one of the best Super Patriots outside of Dave Johnson. Yeah. And I will say that I love Horridus's weird dinosaur head.
You do.
Yeah, I don't love it like I want like Eric to start ripping it off, but I'm just saying like, at first when I looked at it, I was like, oh, I hate that. But like, it's a dinosaur. He's clearly like inspired by like a dinosaur, and that's cool. I think that's neat.
I think the weird part where there isn't really her head is that her body's kind of contorted, so she like looks really thin.
Yes. Yeah.
I think
Oh
the-
yeah.
The
where-
head just looks too big.
Yeah.
I can't defend that. You are
Dude,
correct.
Barbaric looks so badass, though.
Yes. Fuck yes. Mighty Man looks fucking badass.
Yeah, they all look good. I love it.
Very good. Totally kick-ass. And as you notice, this is the first pinup. Those 90s mid-issue pinup. This is the first one for Freak Force.
Is it?
Yeah, you're right.
Well, I noticed they had stopped in some recent Dragons.
And it's funny because in the letters, he's like, yep, you like it in the other issue, so we brought it here. And I was like, oh, it's cool. So, yeah, mid-issue pinups. I'm fucking down for it.
Did you guys get annoyed trying to read the Vanguard dialogue, which I understand is like that because his whatever communication processor translator is broken, but it got so annoying to me trying to get through it.
I'm okay with it. like, I think it's kind of like it's necessary, I think, maybe to like really show the importance of the helmet.
Yeah.
But again, not knowing why Vanguard was without his helmet when his suit does such a shitty job translating. It's kind of like, well...
Yeah, I should have did some more research. It probably happened in, like, I don't know, maybe in his own series. I don't
recall
I
it.
At some point. What's that?
I don't recall it.
Yeah, it's something where his headpiece got damaged. I mean, don't you remember for a while, didn't, what's his girl, Roxanne, have his
You're right.
headpiece?
You're right.
At
I'm
one
remembering that Roxanne had his helmet.
I bet you this lines up with that for some reason.
Good point.
I'll have to go back and look.
I also don't remember this like symbol for his people.
Yeah, very weird. The little like chest symbol.
Yeah. And
It's even on the
they have,
ship,
like,
too.
Yeah, they suddenly have a mini ship kind of thing, which is weird.
Yeah, very bizarre, very weird. I think, again, Vic's body language getting more and more confident all the time. Like, the pose of Super Patriot being, like, carried by Vanguard as he's flying, and then, like, Barbaric just sort of swinging wild and looking scared. Good stuff, dude. That's good. Like, that's way more competent than Vic could have done, like, at the beginning, even, of this series.
I gotta say, though, I'm kind of bored with these, like, ant things. Like, really? They gotta be ants?
Already?
Yeah,
this is their debut.
They could be anything, and they got to be ants.
No,
they
I'm okay with it.
They don't seem to really pose a major threat. It just seemed like a big dust cloud that are clearing things.
They killed thousands and thousands of people. Like,
yeah, it's great.
He tells me, he's like, dude, he killed all, like, the ants already killed like 1,000 people here, 2,000 people here. They're heading for like this city. Like, they murder people.
You don't really get that threat reading this, though. You see, like, one or two ants here or there. I don't know. It just seems like they're using giant spaceships and guns to blow away a few ants. I don't know. The threat doesn't feel...
I will agree that the threat is not very well conveyed. There is even a page where they check in on Barbaric, and he's like, the sound effect is stomp, stomp. How are you doing Barbaric stomp stomp? And like, dude, there's no ant. There's like one little ant in the side. It's right. I think like, Vic didn't do a good job of conveying the destruction of the ants.
No, they should be ants like crawling all over people and cars and stuff. I don't know.
Human bones.
Yeah,
like let's put some human bones. Like we just reviewed Savage Dragon, where Cutthroat's like slicing up like people in stores and stuff. And you're right. There could definitely be some, like, human casualty shown. Instead, it just looks like a bunch of abandoned buildings and ruins and shit.
Right,
fucked up.
Yeah. That's my main problem.
I like the ants as a concept. I'll agree with you that the carnage is not well conveyed. By the way, when I said that there was an amazing Horridus, get ready. The Horridus that is sitting in the seat like a kid, like a little kid, that's one of the best goddamn Horriduses ever. That is such a great, like, the body language is so good on that Horridus.
Yeah.
Where it's like flying eyeball, spooky. So good, dude.
Wally?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's also, too, kind of like, I think a little bit of a bummer where they're, like, kind of talking about how, like, how little action the girls are getting. And it's kind of like, well, you're mocking it. If you're aware it's a problem, just don't do it. Like, write them in something different. You know what I mean?
Right.
How fucking crazy is it that Super Patriot thought to, like, shoot ants? When you think about it, right? Metal ants.
Yeah.
So you said the Drop Shadow returned. You were talking about later in this issue, right?
Very soon, dude. Like the panel where the detective is like talking to Dart, and like Barbaric is most of the background, where the dudes are like, jump, jump. There's a shadow on that border.
Hold on. Let me go back real quick and see that, because I thought...
Thick border on the helicopter. Shadow behind. There's a giant shadow in the center of the page,
All right,
before the pinup.
Okay, but those aren't drop shadows.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
drop shadows in the second to last page.
These are like borders. These look saner
Well, look
choice.
at the second to last page where Mighty Man discovers the orb.
Second
That
to
has
last
drop shadows.
Okay, you're right. There are drop shadows in the last 3 pages. You're right. Okay.
Yep.
Couldn't help himself.
Because I thought you were talking about, if you go back 2 pages before that, when you see the page right before the spaceship is shooting the ants. There's like a big black rectangle behind those panels, but it's also not really a drop shadow.
Right.
Nope.
So he's still trying stuff, which I think is better than the drop shadows, because the drop shadows are just freaking weird.
Yeah, I think all of those like solutions, like thick border, large central black square, are all better than the drop shadow. I don't know why the drop shadow is just so unsuccessful, but it is.
It's just weird. Like look at the second to last page when Mighty Man discovers the orb, and instead of just having his the last panel on that page, instead of just having his head within the panel, it comes out of the panel.
Yeah.
It just seems weird, like a weird choice.
Yeah, it's weird. For sure. Yeah, and then the big reveal is Cyberforce. And
Force versus Force.
Vic does a pretty good Cyberforce. Like his Rip Claw is pretty good. His Striker's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. I like the idea of these guys bumping into each other.
I don't know who any of these people are.
It's Wolverine and Cable.
And Colossus.
Yep. And Psylocke.
Psylocke.
Yep. But different. Their whole thing, Jim, is cybernetics. That's
Right.
why they
I
have
understand. I know
Cyberforce.
that part. They're the Project Reborn thing.
Yeah. So they're just basically their whole genetic thing is they're augmented, and so that's it. So you got a force of freaks. Well, they're a force of cyber.
And they're connected with the Covenant, who's connected with Super Patriot.
So it fits contextually very well.
Next issue, Cyberforce. It's gonna be bitchin'.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Can you say bitching on TV?
And
Guys,
more Savage Dragon Creator Contest runner-ups.
look at that dog punching that goddamn hole through Dragon.
It's a very strong dog.
Listen, understand that I saw that dog long ago when I was a child, and I learned yesterday that dog is not only got bloodlust, but he's strong like few dragon characters are. And look at Dragon, he's nonplussed. Oh well.
I like the Black Bullet.
Yeah, me too, actually.
I'd agree. Except I'm aware of the bullets here.
Doesn't matter. There can be more than one bullet guy in the world. He's got mom jeans, dude. Look at his high. He's got that high waist though. The bullet.
Okay. He's got that weird lobster shell armor.
I will say this though: the lobster shell armor makes sense if you're a human bullet, rather than it just being your head.
Yeah, dude, because you're gonna shred the shit out of whatever you land on or fly past.
You don't have to go straight through things. You can just wing it, ding it.
It's pretty funny to think of it in terms of real life. If someone had those powers to wear a bullet mask or head like that, a elongated cone head thing. Yeah, this makes perfect sense.
Perfect.
I'm gonna look awesome. I'm gonna strike fear into villains.
And you wouldn't. Everybody would think that you look like lipstick and just jokes all the time, dude. I hate this genie-looking fuck that is I eat dragon for breakfast. I hate his hair.
As you should.
I don't like it, dude. And he's also green. It just seems like that's a dumb choice. Dragon's green, so you're going to make your dude green? Terrible. Simply terrible.
Do better next time.
Can I ask, before I get into my letter notes, they're pretty quick. Has there ever been a proper Dart logo? I know, like, there was the Dart
there's the Dart comic logo, which is as good a logo as any.
Yeah.
Dart comic.
And I feel like it showed up on Savage Dragon.
Yeah.
Cover.
I think that was the only thing from that comic that was worth salvaging.
I just feel like it's a shame.
You're right.
I think I like this fan logo better than the official Dart comic logo.
I don't think the Dart comic logo is bad.
I just don't think it's memorable.
Well, they can't all be winners.
Fair. So, notes on this letter. So, Eric states that the highbrow title was created to help readers who were calling Eric's titles the Larson verse, which he didn't like. He went with highbrow as parody of creators who were getting snotty and pretentious. And again, in my mind, for some reason, highbrow was a parody of Legend, but Eric confirmed in an interview he did with us that it fucking wasn't. So I don't know.
That is bizarre, considering how similar they are.
It is incredibly bizarre, dude. Eric mentions that he would like to do a Gen 13 team up. We never got it. Letter writer John Ellis suggests that Hortus's Legion of Superheroes name would be Pincushion Lass. And I must ask, James Purcell, star of the Legion of... What is it? The Super of Legion cast heroes?
Legion of Substitute Podcasters.
All right.
Did you say the Super of Legion cast heroes?
So I got to ask, so John Ellis has suggested something interesting. If we're going to call Hortus Pincushion Lass, I just have to ask, Jim, do you have Legion names for all of Freak Force? And if you would be so kind, could you share them with us, please?
All right. So, let's see what I can come up with.
All right.
Now, this is going to assume that they're also teenagers. So, of course, the easy one is Mighty Boy.
Oh, sure. Okay.
All right. Super Patriot is much trickier. I'm going to go with Gun Guy.
Oh, that's a Legion. That's Legion level. Sure.
I'm going to go with Dart. Well, Dart's another kind of easy one. You'd call her Dart Lass.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. I mean,
Barbaric. Possibly Barbarian Kid or Barbarian Lad.
Kid Barbarian.
Yeah. Ricochet, probably. I mean, there's already a Bouncing Boy, so I can't really just call her Bouncing Girl.
Why not?
Maybe Ricochet Lass. Of course, that one's also easy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Rapture, there's a whole bunch of Lightning Lads and Lightning Lasses, so she's even easier. Well, actually, she's even harder because her power's already taken. See, in the Legion, in the Legion of Superheroes, the rule is you can only have one person on the team with this. You can't have two people on the team with the same superpowers.
Sure.
So I'm gonna go with. I can't come up with a good one for her. Darn it.
Lightning Ho.
Yeah, I'm not crass like that. The Legion doesn't accept crassness. They're good boys and girls.
What about Prostitution Gal?
Okay, you can have that one.
All right.
Lady of the Electric Knight.
Right. Electrocutie. Nah, it's too clever for Legion.
Well, not early Legion. Yes,
It's got to be right on the nose.
Yeah.
Generally, it's boy, girl, last lad, kid, and there's one princess. Queen Rapture. That might work.
Queen Rapture?
No.
Rapture Queen.
Rapture Lass.
Zap Girl. That's it.
Zap Girl's pretty good.
Found it.
Zap Girl is very Legion. All right. Very nice. Very nice. You earn your team ring today, Mr. Purcell. That's how it works, right? They get the ring?
Yes. Yes,
Right.
that is how it works.
Just checking.
You get your flight ring.
Get your flight ring. Moving back to the notes, there is a letter writer, Bob Krell, who states he was born in 1926. He remembers when Superman and Captain Marvel first hit the stands, but he now prefers Mighty Man. I did the math for you, dear listener. Bob was 68 when this issue hit. He'd be 95 today if he's still out there.
Nice.
Bob, if you're out there, let us know. A writer asks if he can be Hortus's boyfriend. Eric warns, says sure, but safe sex is not possible with her. It's fucking just letter page wackiness. And then Eric mentions in reply, some toys are coming from Todd Toys, but not the whole team. Surely this must be a reference in 1994 to 1996's Super Patriot.
Didn't Barbaric get a figure too, or was that just a joke?
Barbaric got a Playmates figure.
Ah.
So this was a Todd toy, and that was just Super Patriot.
Oh, there was a McFarlane. There was a McFarlane Super Patriot.
Yeah,
Apparently.
Before that,
there's
before that Ninja Turtle line.
yeah.
Huh.
96, yep. Google it.
There was a
Google
couple
it.
of different Image characters, I think, in that line, like a Youngblood, like a Die Hard or something.
Let me just say, I'm going to use this moment in time when there's probably no... That's my last note. Let me just say in this moment in time, there is probably no better time to say this. Huge missed opportunity by Todd McFarlane to not constantly crank out all kinds of Image toys. Are you kidding me? Like, what the fuck? Why isn't there, like, McFarlane toys of everything Image? Seems like such a direct, doesn't it? Like, through line?
We probably could make more money making in more Spawn variants.
Sure, but you do what he did in the past, which is to say you make a Spawn line and then you just throw in a Super Patriot or something. I always thought that was...
Well, he did he did Wetworks, a whole line of Wetworks characters. I think he did Youngblood characters.
Just feels like there could have been a lot more done.
Yeah.
A lot more done, dude. Yeah. That's my notes, my bros. That's my notes. And Bad Rock
And Company.
Company. Who's that in the middle?
It's
Looking like he doesn't belong in this company.
Mighty Boy. I will say this. This is a Todd Knock cover, and Todd Knock rules.
Put Todd Knock in context for me. I don't know him.
All right, so Todd Knock drew a lot of Extreme books back in the day, but he eventually graduated to drawing Young Justice at DC at some point. Then later on, he would create his own super team book called Wild Guard at Image. And if none of these are ringing bells, I can't help you, but he is one of my favorite artists of all time.
Didn't he do Guardians of the Globe?
Yes,
Guarding
yes.
the Globe or whatever.
No, he did Invincible Universe.
Okay.
There you go. All right. Cool.
Unless
His Wild Guard was kind of like a Youngblood. It was like a America. Like
it was America's Got Talent
superheroes.
with superheroes. It was
Yeah.
actually kind of ahead of its time because no one else had done that quite yet. Let me just verify something. Todd Knock.
And didn't he do the Obama cover?
Yes,
for
Todd
that
Knock.
Spider-Man
Todd Knock
after?
did Invincible Universe. Obama cover for what?
Amazing Spider-Man after Eric famously did his Obama cover.
Oh,
for
he
Savage
might have.
Dragon.
I don't know. I never looked too close at that one. But
He's a good art. He's good.
he's pretty early here, but I like the way he draws. He's got a very animated style to what he does. It's very, very cartoon-ish.
There's a
I feel
cosplay.
like it's a cross between Otley and J. Scott Campbell, somewhere in the middle for me.
I googled Todd Knock art because I wanted to see what you guys are talking about. And he's really good, but that's not the story here. Todd Knock, the very first thing when you Google him is him dressed as fucking Peter Parker.
Oh yeah,
from
yeah.
Into the Spider-Verse.
The joke is when that movie came out, Todd Knock looks just like Peter B. Parker.
He does, dude.
And so he started cosplaying as Peter B. Parker at conventions because of it.
It's good. It's really good. It's hilarious. Yep, good shit. Kick-ass artist, yeah, really good. Well,
I think that brings us to the end of this epic adventure.
Yeah. I just want to say I'm warming up to Freak Force a lot. When we started, I was kind of like, bleh. And like Vic still has his weird moments, but like that doesn't matter. I think he's getting stronger with every issue. I think that they're doing more with each issue, laying down plot threads, and I think the threats are getting more serious and more interesting. Yeah, robot ants, I get it. They weren't really handled visually maybe as kick-ass as they could, but conceptually, I think they're very awesome. So, yeah, man, I'm feeling that same feeling when I just sort of swung full tilt into Ninja Turtles. And I was like, okay, this is fucking great, and I love that I'm getting to read it. I'm really starting to feel Freak Force, stronger and stronger with every issue. So, yeah, I liked it. I think it was kick-ass.
Cool.
So, as always, you can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Anchor FM, Spotify, and YouTube. And if you got any questions or comments or suggestions, you can send them to savagefincast@gmail.com. And I think that's about it. What else you got?
For the sake of brevity, yes.
That's all, folks.
Do.